Hello again. I'm going to be talking about a dream that really pissed me off. Like, I was so mad in my dream, I woke up pissed off and it bothered me for the whole day. This may sound a little rambly, a little all over the place, but essentially I want to talk about what I got out of that dream and how it helped me shift my perspective on things. So I very much like to analyze my dreams, not all of them, but ones that feel really like significant to me, like this one. I like to think that our dreams can help us in our waking life and kind of get us through things or help shift our perspective. So the dream that I had that pissed me off so much, I was on set. I was a film director, but I was kind of meek and I was like scared, and the assistant director was like really taking over, and I just started falling back into like the shadows and like letting her do her thing, right? And I felt like I wasn't a good fit, and I went off somewhere and I saw someone from my past and just started talking to them, and like it was like a therapy moment, right? But then I realized like the scene was changing, things were moving, and I went back, and the woman that just like started taking over, she was like, "This isn't my job," and like I was like, "Oh fuck!" And I was like scrambling. I was like, "Where are we? What are we doing?" And I was trying to find storyboards. I was trying to find script and like shot lists and like whatnot, and like everyone is just standing around watching me freak out. No one's lifting a finger. No one's helping. No one cares. No one wants me to be there, and this like there was like a part where like I'm at like a picnic table like rifling through things looking for something, and this motherfucker that is like sitting across from me at the table says some shit of like, "You must be lonely, you're not getting laid," and things like that. And I was so mad, and I was like, "Ask me if I give a fuck what you think," basically. And I was like mad and still looking for shit, but I woke up pissed off at that point, and I was like, what is this trying to tell me, basically? What is this dream trying to tell me? And I had to sit there and think, like, I started to think, like, what am I actually mad about? I was mad about how meek I was being in the dream. I was mad about these, like, fuck ass, like, overgrown toddlers. I was mad about their egos, their self-centeredness, their pettiness. I was mad about how I was being treated, and I started getting mad about like, you know what, this is this is the industry. They reward this kind of like bad behavior, and I fucking hate it. But the thing that pissed me off the absolute most was how like meek I was in the dream, right? I really hated that part. So what I was getting from it was that I don't want to be that person anymore. Like, I could see that's kind of how I was like growing up, but I was just like, I'm really over it. I'm over people being assholes to me and thinking that, you know, they just see this like adult kindergartner face that they can like, I don't know, take advantage or treat me as like I'm beneath them. I'm done with that. And it helped me like sit down and say like, all right, like what do I really value in my friendships, in my relationships, in like my work environments, and what do I not want to tolerate anymore? And I was thinking about changes and practices that I would like want to implement on like whatever project I have, even if it's not film related, like really focusing on who is there for the story versus who is there for like the gig or their ego or whatever they want to make it their own. Like they're there in service of like their own self-interest. So it makes me think about like who I want to hire, right? Or like what I want to be a part of. and really just reminding myself like what's actually like important to me. Like what's most important is like the story, whether it's mine or like working in service of like someone else's story. And this has come up even like in my regular jobs, like even in retail. Like I do not focus on the hierarchy. I don't care about the hierarchy. I care very much about like what is the goal, what is the mission, is it working, how do we need to pivot, how do we need to adapt. And I want to be surrounded by other like-minded people like that, who are just very much there because they want to be there, and who don't put other people beneath them. I haven't really like worked on a production that was just like outright my god, anyone else's like eyelids just like get stuck together when it's really hot. I haven't like been on a film set like this, but like, you know, hearing about like all these like Me Too movements, or like how out of control actors and actresses can get like on set, and like thinking about how I would like to move up and do bigger productions and have a wider reach. Like it just makes me think like I really don't want that on my sets. I want people there because they want to be there. I want people who treat each other with kindness, who are great to work with, and who aren't like anglerfish type of people, if you know what I mean. Like they present themselves as like a safe place, but up close they're like a monster. I don't want any of that. So when I think about like how I want my next like sets to run and things like that, you know, I do like imagine myself like being that boss bitch and like having these comebacks and like putting people down that are like getting out of line. Part of me is like, I want to cut a bitch down, but I don't want the opportunity to arise. But I feel like if it did, like I would still like be actually scared to like do it. My voice would shake, and I hate that feeling. But it's just like I really want to feel comfortable in like having to step up like that if need be. Like, no, I don't want the opportunity, but yeah, I don't know. I'm circling here, I'm looping here. Basically, like I do want to like be that savage one, but then I also don't want to get pwned or whatever. Like fumble a comeback. Oh, it's the worst. So I've been seeing like on Instagram, these posts have been coming up talking about like wanting to be like a more self-confident person or more like assertive person, like being on stage, public speaking and all that. They talk about developing like an alter ego, and to me that always just felt so like weird, you know. It's the idea of like I know I'm not this alter ego, so I have a hard time, I guess, acting like them, putting on that persona. But then when I was like writing like all like journaling like all my thoughts and feelings, right, I started thinking about like, well, who would my alter ego be, right? And I started thinking about Melissa McCarthy and a lot of her movies, specifically The Heat. That is my favorite movie of hers. I love her characters so fucking much. In The Heat, Bridesmaids, Tammy, she just has, even The Boss, she has so many great comebacks, so many one-liners, and just like fucking hurls them at people and does not give a fuck. And like, so I sat there and I thought, all right, if I have to have an alter ego, it's gonna be Melissa McCarthy. Even though like I'd like to take on like that alter ego of like being a Melissa McCarthy like character, and like having the guts to like be savage when I need to be savage. There's also a part of me that like I don't want to get hurt, you know, just being like a woman and like being savage like with a dude. It's sort of like, oh, like there's still the potential of I can get physically hurt just by saying something, but I don't know how to say it. There's other dreams that I've been having where it's just like it all gets related to, like, you're not saying what you need to say, like, you're being too nice, you're holding it in, you're suppressing it, you need to let it out. And it's sort of like, it's that conflict of, like, I want to let it out, but then I also don't want to be an asshole and, like, hurt someone that doesn't deserve it, and I also don't want to get hurt. It kind of came out, I was doing an art walk, like, a couple weeks ago. It was hot as balls again, in the sun, like, this whole street, and the only sunspot, I happened to be in the sunspot, and it was just unbearable. And, like, it was a situation of, like, we're having to, like, shuffle our tables because people are coming in late, and, like, there's not enough room, and, like, they're trying to get into their spot, and it became, like, a whole thing of, like, everyone's being wishy-washy and passive-aggressive, and then, like, I just kind of, like, snapped. I'm like, all right, look, I'm gonna move here, you move here, and like, I saw the woman, like, she looked at me, and I got scared, and I was like, oh, I'm so sorry, like, that sounded very aggressive, and I did not mean that. I'm sorry if I sounded like an asshole. And she's like, you didn't sound like an asshole. it's like, thank you for not thinking I was an asshole, but I just felt like that pang of, like, ew, like, I was just, she was a nice lady and did not deserve that aggressiveness, but it worked out. So I'm glad she saw me and didn't think anything of it. So like, amidst all this, like, journaling and writing, the other thing that was, like, coming up for me was, I just kept thinking about, like, why, like, what is this, like, trying to tell me, right? Like, it's not just, like, this whole alter ego thing. It's not just this, like, giving myself permission to be more, like, assertive and, like, aggressive. And the thing that really, like, popped up into my head was, I had been seeing these, like, other, like, conversations popping up on, like, my social media where it's like, you say you want, like, all the money, you want the big money, you want the bigger gigs and things like that, but are you someone that can, like, receive that, right? Like, if we give it to you, what are you gonna do with it? Are you gonna get scared? Are you gonna, like, get, like cold feet and, like, run? Or, like, what's gonna happen? And I started thinking, like, yeah, like, if I didn't become more assertive and, like, more, like, not more savage, but, like, channeled my anger, like, in a different direction, if I was still meek, I would have a hard time, like, negotiating for myself, like, this, like, higher pay. Like, I think I would just, like, fuck up and either, like, undersell myself and, like, not end up getting the gig, or, like, I would get paid for, like, way less than, like, what I could be getting. So the thing that came up is, like, channeling my anger and assertiveness. When that opportunity, like, eventually, like, comes to me, I'm gonna have this feel, I'm not gonna feel meek about it. Like, I'm still, like, mad and mad at the idea that people think that I can't do this, and I know I can. So the idea of, like, someone, like, sliding a check, like, across for, like, I don't know, 6 figures, 7 figures, and me looking at that after having this shift in perspective and, like, this dream and, like, channeling my anger, like, I could say, like, I could look at that big number and be like, you're goddamn right, you're paying me that, and I am gonna do the job. And even if I suck at it, it's sort of like, there's no refunds, you know? You, like, the industry hires people who make bad movies all the time. They get to make new movies after it, for the most part, like, sometimes no. But yeah, there's so many dudes out there that are making shitty movies, and it's like, well, why not me? Yeah. So I feel like processing that whole dream, processing my emotions, got me to this, like, higher state, and I think I have lost more of my meekness, basically. So kind of excited about it. See what's gonna happen in the future. But the other thing that I wanted to talk about is I was still mad after I finished journaling. Like, this really fucked me up, like, the whole day, and I just thought, like, what else? Like, what else am I not seeing? What else do I need to, like, gain from this experience? And I do this thing sometimes where it's called bibliomancy. So, like, I pose the question of, like, what else am I not seeing? What do you need me to see? What am I supposed to learn? And I like doing it with Women Who Run with the Wolves. This is actually a really great book for women. It's about women, but it's also a great read for dudes. Like if you're not of like the toxic variety and you do want to like understand women better, this is a very good book. It also has sections in it for dudes and understanding themselves. So I posed the question, and what page was it? 259. Oh, okay. Well, it was a couple pages. But pose the question, open the book to a random page, whatever feels right. And I started reading, and let me find my section real quick. Okay, so this is the section I came upon. It's in my book, it starts towards the bottom of 258. It's the chapter Self-Preservation, Identifying Leg Traps. So I'm going to read quite a bit. So, trap number 6, cringing before the collective shadow rebellion. And this is in reference to the story, it's like the girl with the red shoes, fairy tale, basically. Oh yeah, the red shoes. So you can Google that, or read the book. So it goes, the child sneaks on the red shoes, marches off to church, pays no attention to what swirls around her, is reviled by the community. Members of the village tell on her. She is chastised. The red shoes are taken away, but it's too late. She is hooked. The issue is not yet obsession, rather that the collective inspires and strengthens her inner starvation by demanding capitulation to its narrow values. You can try to have a secret life, but sooner or later, the superego, a negative complex, and or the culture itself will hail down. It is hard to hide an unsanctioned something that you are ravenous about. It is hard to hide stolen pleasures even when they are not nourishing ones. The nature of negative complexes and cultures is to pounce upon any discrepancy between the consensus about what is acceptable behavior and the individual's differing impulse. Just as some people go mad to see a single leaf upon their walkway, negative judgment draws out its saws to amputate any member that does not conform. Sometimes the collective pressures a woman to be a saint, to be enlightened, to be politically correct, to have it together, in order for each of her endeavors to amount to an opus. If we cringe before the collective and acquiesce to pressures for mindless conformity, we are protected from exile, but at the same time, also treacherously endanger our wildish lives. Some think that the times are past when if a woman was called wild, she was being cursed. If she was wild, meaning acting her natural soul self, she was labeled wrong and bad. It is not so that these times are over. What has changed are the types of behaviors that are considered out of control for women. For instance, in various parts of the world today, if a woman takes a stand politically, socially, spiritually, familially, environmentally, if she points out that some particular emperor has no clothes, or if she speaks for those who are hurt or who are without voice, too often her motives are examined to see if she has gone wild. That is crazy. For a wild child born into a rigid community, the usual outcome is to experience the ignominy of being shunned. Shunning treats the victim as if she does not exist. It withdraws spiritual concern, love, and other psychic necessities from that person. The idea is to force her to conform, or else to kill her spiritually, or to drive her from the village to languish and die in the outback. If a woman is shunned, it is almost always because she has done or is about to do something in the wildish range. Oftentimes, something as simple as expressing a slightly different belief or wearing an unapproved color. Small things as well as large ones. It must be remembered that an oppressed woman not so much refuses to fit as she cannot fit without also dying. Her spiritual integrity is at stake, and she will try to be free in whatever ways are available, even if they put her at risk. And here's a most recent example. According to CNN, at the onset of the Gulf War, Muslim women from Saudi Arabia, forbidden to drive by religious stricture, climbed into cars and drove. After the war, the women were brought before tribunals that condemned their behavior, and finally, after much interrogation and condemnation, released the women to the custody of their fathers, brothers, or husbands, who had to promise to keep the women in line in the future. This is a case of a woman's life-giving and life-thriving mark on a crazy world being defined as scandalous, insane, and out of control. Unlike the child in the tale who allows the culture surrounding her to press her into even more dryness, sometimes the only alternative to cringing before a parched collective is to commit an act drenched in courage. This act need not necessarily be of the earth-shaking variety. Courage means to follow the heart. There are millions of women who commit acts of great heart every day. It is not only the singular act that reshapes a dry collective, but also the continuation of those acts. As a young Buddhist nun once told me, water drips through stone. I think I'll stop there, but basically, reading that, I started thinking about all this like anxiety and fear that I've had about like posting on YouTube and like social media, putting my work out there, being on camera, talking on camera. It like gave me like a lot of anxiety, right? Like I'm sure you could hear my shaking voice in my first videos. But I think the culmination of the dream, my shifts in perspective, and reading these passages is all just like surrounding me, encouraging me to get over my fear and anxiety of like doing this thing, being on YouTube and talking about things, talking about my woo-woo spiritual journaling practices and like what I'm learning, and things like that. So I just felt like this dream was like trying to tell me so much, but also at the very heart of it, it was just telling me like, get over this meekness, this shyness. There was no reason to be shy. Just do the damn thing. Do it for you, do it for others that need to hear what you have to say. That's been like the hardest thing to believe, like that there's people out there that can benefit from hearing what I have to say. But yeah, well, it is hot and I have no energy left, so I hope this helped someone out there, and here's to many more videos to come. Welcome back. I missed my Thursday posting. I had a video, but I didn't edit and post it, and I'm trying to not feel bad about it. I had a busy week last week. I was prepping for Zine Fest all week, so it was long hours, and then Zine Fest came, and then I had another event to vend the next day. That day was long, it was hot. My day didn't end. I didn't go until like 3 a.m. Sunday night, or I guess Monday morning. So I was like, Monday is gonna be my rest day. I'm not gonna do anything Monday. Monday did not feel like a rest day. Monday felt frustrating, and I had a hard time relaxing. So I was like, Tuesday, just give me another day. Tuesday, let me relax. And then I ended up posting, what was it? Oh, it was like a audio chapter from Raiders of the Secret Snack Stash. So I was like, all right, cool, I'll slide that in there. Wednesday came and I was like, I still am not feeling it. Like, I know I have to sit here and like record my videos, and I'm like, what do I talk about? What do I do? And I ended up spending the day like writing something else, something to post for my B-side stories. So it was like really like a half day or like a quarter day of work. I was like, all right, it's fine, but it's now, what was it, Saturday? So Thursday and Friday I was just kind of like, I guess avoiding like recording, like it's fine like sitting down to like do it, but it takes a lot of effort to get me to sit down and do it and say the things that are on my mind, say the things I want to say and things like that. And so I just had a hard time with it this past week because I'm tired of being tired, and I just wanted more time to rest. I think like one of like the most like frustrating things, like trying to navigate yourself in the dark, or like navigate yourself, like self-leadership and things like that, is knowing when to move and when to rest, and how do I say this? Trying to recognize like when you're hiding from yourself. Like this past week, it's been like, oh, like my excuse has always been like, I'm tired, I'm still tired, I'm still tired. Like I had a full ass like week of work. It'd be nice to take this whole next week off, but there's just like, oh, there's things I need to move, I need to like work on, things I need to put out. And it's like this trap of like, well, let me do it tomorrow, let me do it tomorrow, let me do it tomorrow. And trying to find that cutoff point of like when is rest enough, even if it doesn't feel like enough, or I don't know. I guess I still felt like tired like midweek, but I had this like feeling of like, oh, I need to like really get back into like recording and editing and posting and things like that. But I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to listen to myself. And then like this morning, like I just got like on Instagram, and I don't know, like the algorithm be algorithming, and saw a couple of videos. Let me see. The creator McCarthy popped up on my feed, and immediately it was like, why are you still hiding? And I was like, all right, I feel dragged already. Let me see what this is about. And he just goes into all these points of like why you're afraid of like being seen and things like that, and what you're actually worried about. So my like underneath my excuse of like, I'm tired, I'm resting, like what turned into like I'm gonna rest for like a day, 2 days, a week. What was happening underneath that was me just not wanting to like sit down and record, like like getting into it and like actually like doing it. Like, sorry, I got cut off. What was I saying? So running underneath all this like excuse of like, I'm tired, I want to rest is me negotiating with fear. So we're here, we're doing it. I don't feel like doing it. My back's bothering me, my neck's bothering me, I'm tired. So I went back into Griffith's videos and just kind of wrote some bullet points. You should really go watch those videos. I love how he talks about them. He does it way more justice than I'm about to do it. These are just the bullet points that were dragging me, basically. He talked about, in regards to hiding and the fear of being seen, he talks about visibility doesn't always equal ego. Visibility can mean service. A willingness to stand up gives someone else evidence that standing up is possible. You don't know whose liberation might begin because you stood up and came out of hiding, because you stopped apologizing for your liberation. And that one hit because it's like my whole, I guess, like goal or like mission has been to share my experiences, share my wisdom. I do get nervous talking about like, I guess, the spiritual, like intuitive side of things. I do think about like judgment from people who watch my videos, people like in my circles, like watching them and like judging them. So like me, like avoiding like recording like this past week hasn't been helping or like serving me. Or I guess others, like, it's hard for me to picture, I don't know, this idea of like, oh, I want to go and like share like my experiences and things like that, but I'm also like, well, who needs them? Um, I guess it's not so much like who needs them, it's more like, does, I guess, do I bring that value? Um, I guess, like, am I good enough? You know? It's just wild to think about because, like I said, like I have this thing of I want to help people, I want to share my experiences, want to make people feel like they're not alone. And I've like had like evidence of that like in person, like this past like weekend at both events. Um, you know, creatives like come up and like talk to me, and like this happens like kind of often where people start just like going on about like their how they're feeling like insecure about like their creative work and things like that, and like just in talking to them, like they end up, you know, like me sharing like my experiences and like, oh, like try this, or like reminding them like, no, that's actually like you're on like a good path, it's just a long path, and like you know, talking to them about my ideas or like how I'm doing things, and it's like, oh, like helping like reshape their perspective on things. You know, they walk away like with like a little pep in their step or feeling a little lighter, and in a better mood than like when they, you know, were first approached. So it's like I have the evidence, but I'm still dealing with like, I don't know, this part. You know, like I see all the time, like people like putting themselves out there like on like social media, and like then it becomes big, and then like with that greater visibility comes more trolls, comes more criticism, judgment, and like just like weird people. I guess like that's the part like I'm afraid of just being a woman, like putting myself out there on like social media. And like what would that I guess like a greater like reach, like what's that gonna do? How much responsibility is it gonna bring? I guess I worry about the trolls, I worry about the judgment, I worry about like how my life would change. Even now, I imagine people are like, what makes you think you're even gonna go big? What makes you think and you know, I guess I figured like it would happen at some point with just purely through consistency, you know, like more followers, more people looking, more eyes, whether they're subscribing or liking or not, you know, I don't know. That is also like one of the other aspects of what Nick Neil Griffith is like talking about. He's like, you're not afraid of failure, you're afraid of the identity disruption success is like gonna bring you. And it's like, yeah, I worry how like this whole thing like would change my life. And I'm like, I guess I'm imagining like in the negative, right? So I don't know. The video that I haven't edited yet and posted is kind of linked to this. I might just edit them together, but yeah, like I think it's just like the same thing I'm like going through of like, this feels weird. It feels weird talking to the camera. Like it feels weird knowing that people are gonna see this and like comment or like have opinions, and it's sort of like still adjusting to this all. Like I kind of did this with you know, the Felix Elmar crew. Like did like a couple podcast episodes, and like that was like fine. Like I didn't really have as much of a problem with it because I was like surrounded by friends, you know. but it's like a whole different thing, trying to do this like on my own. It's kind of like, oh, I don't know, like, no, it's like sitting in a vacuum, but it's like, I don't know how to describe it. Like, there's no, like, there's no feedback, there's no, like, bouncing off of each other. It's just, like, me and my thoughts and, like, waiting for confirmation, validation, or, like, criticism and judgment. Putting in all this work and, like, wondering how it's gonna land. And I don't know, I guess it's, like, I see that it's kind of a waste because we're judged, like, whether we do the thing or not, right? I don't know, if these videos help, it'd be cool if you could, like, subscribe, play the videos all the way through, just play it and walk away if you don't want to watch it. I don't know, man. Yeah, also, like, in relation to that, I started, like, finding out more people have been, like, seeing my B-side stories on my Instagram, and I didn't realize that they were, like, you know, keeping up with them and enjoying them. And I was like, oh, I had, like, no idea. Like, they just, like, didn't like or like repost or whatever. And I was just sort of like, I'm glad that you told me, because it makes me feel like, oh, these are entertaining, these are fun, or you're getting something out of it. So it's just kind of, I hate doing the whole like and subscribe, you know, like soundbite, but it's like, it does like help, right? It gives me feedback on like which direction to go. Like if you guys like more of a certain type of video than others, you know, that helps. Anyways, I guess I'll end on this last point. That kind of like ties into like everything I've just been feeling today. There's a point where humility becomes self-betrayal. And McNeil Griffith posed the question, what if hiding is costing you more than being seen ever could? So here's to pushing through, doing it scared. Yeah, here's to keep on keeping on. I don't know how else to end this, so like and subscribe.